Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Longbox. I just looked and I realized that I had already done my What You're Reading. So instead, I will do the Deities and Demigods. There you go. This is the Advanced D&D First Edition, Deities and Demigods. This is the one with the excluded, forbidden content. But again, we might have some new people. So I just want to show on Kickstarter, I have my comic book, Heroic Tales #1, featuring the Patriarch, a superhero who is a loving father, devoted husband, beloved superhero, doing daring do. This is his family. This is his farm. This is what he wants to go home to every day. And then this is a whimsical cover by Michael T. Gilbert of Mr. Monster fame. I just love that cover. So you could get that on Kickstarter. And then you could get the Pat Broderick cover on Fund My Comic. There you go. That's the exclusive cover on Fund My Comic, as well as the regular comic. So you check them out. Check them out. This is the interior art. I just love this. This is gorgeous, just gorgeous. And as the last few pages are coming in, it's just so good. It's just so good. If I may toot my own, I'm not even showing it. It's just so gorgeous. There you go. This is the Pat Broderick cover right here. Look at that. It's just, and then this is the back cover. I love that. And here is the interior artwork. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I'll remove that and I will stop sharing the screen. And here we go. You could pop in and talk with me if you so choose. I like to talk with people. This whole channel was so that I could talk with other like-minded comic book and goof fans. Long time no see. Yep. He's goofing because I was just live a couple minutes ago with my back issue bonanza. We got Sketchosaur Rex. How you doing? We got Haldir. How you doing? And we got Pity Ma. Pity Ma, you back? Yeah. So I threw you I said I was going to do What You're Reading. And then when I went to get the stack, I'm like, wait a minute, I already did these. So I did the Monster Manual the other day. That seemed to be a big hit. And let's talk about the Deities Demigods. But first, a commercial. This is just a reference quarter, regular old quarter, to show you the size. This is the quarter for the Heroic Tales. Look at that. In this light, this looks so good. This is exactly what it looks like. It's so good. Look at that. I love this coin. I love this. I'm going to be making one of these coins for every one of my characters. I just love this. And then I made this big challenge coin. I got 16 left. I got 16 of these left. These are big, expensive. The only way to get these as of right now is to PayPal me $30 at John's Longbox at yahoo.com. Use your PayPal, and I'll put this right in the mail tomorrow. I got nothing else to do. I'm home from work. Okay, so there we go. Let's take a sip of my Hellboy coffee. And let's take a look at this. So look at this. Scott Curry took my copy and wrote his name in it and gave me his copy because his copy didn't have the extra stuff. Every time I see that, I get mad. I get mad. I get mean mad, fighting mad mead. Here are the list of the artists: Jeff D., Errol Otis, David Sutherland, D.A. Trampier, Jeff Landers, and the cover, the painting by Errol Otis. What does it have a year? Oh yeah, 1980. 1980. I saw this is the first edition. This is the first edition. Wolf and Bear, how you doing? Hey, Dojo Kun. Ah, man. Oh dang, are you talking about he wrote the name? There was hell to pay. There was hell to pay. I love this. I love this. This is a forward by Gary Gygax. This book, I'm not even joking, was super important to me growing up. This book, it pointed, like I was reading comics at this time at 1980, but this book got me to read books. I was just fascinated by mythology and everything like that. So I was what grade was I in 1980? I don't even remember all of these charts and all this nonsense. Psionics. I know I asked a few people last time I did it. Did you use psionics? Did you, I tried with psionics. It made a game about fantasy and magic more sci-fi. So I wasn't too happy with psionics as it worked out. So more rules, morality and immorality, omens, divine ascension, all of this great stuff. And then we go right to the American Indian mythos. We got Raven. 400 hit points. So to me, 400 hit points was the upper limit in D&D. You couldn't have 600 hit points. Did anybody ever have a character with more than 400 hit points in this advanced Dungeons and Dragons? Because I don't know about the other editions. I said that I stopped at this, but I made a mistake. I got all of the second edition books, and maybe I'll show them off too when I'm done with this. So I got the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons second edition is when I stopped. So it's second edition is the end of my experience with Dungeons and Dragons. And that's all the olden stuff. So we got Raven, the Coyote. I'm going to massacre these names. Let me see if I can bring this a little closer. Does this help? Does this help at all? A little closer. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Forget it. I can't pronounce these. In 1980, I was a freshman in high school. I had the Deities and Demigods first edition too. So I graduated high school in 87. So that's 12th grade. 12 minus 7 is 5th grade. I was in 5th grade. So I was in 5th grade. Okay, that tracks. Okay. I have all the main D&D 5th edition books. I haven't played it yet, but it's fun reading. Yeah. I do have a couple of other, and I don't know what edition they are. I just bought them because I like the art. And I have the archive book, which I did a video on, and it didn't seem to go over too well, but that's, that was like in my first year. So maybe I'll do it again. Hiawatha, Kotoru, Quagwaz, Shakak, Snake Man, Stone Ribs, Thunderbird, Tobad, I can't pronounce these names. Would this do better on an easel? Let me see if this would do better on an easel. So, the Arthurian heroes. This was like the first thing that really inspired me to read. I got this book out of the library, a big honking book of, La Morte Arthur by, what was that? Mallory, is that his name? And yeah, that's a little better. That's a little better. So I got the La Morte Arthur by Thomas Mallory, and I was fascinated by it, and I would read it constantly and take notes. So yeah, this is 5th grade, and that's when the school psychologist took me down, and like I had to justify why I was reading these books, what these notes meant and everything. And I was like this close to being like, okay, I guess I don't read anymore. Reading gets you in trouble. I asked her, I said, am I in trouble? And she's like, no, but whatever. The Average Knight of Renown, because I was taking all the notes from La Morte Arthur and converting them into D&D, whether they were Knights of Renown and Knights of Quality, because that's what role player guys do. So now we got like all of these knights who are not written up. I don't know. I think it was better on the ground. You can see the whole page. I think it was better on the ground. So let's put it back. I'll bring it closer. And I'll bring it down. Okay. How's that? Does that work? What do you think? Okay. So now we got King Arthur, and tell me you're not thinking of Monty Python. Like every D&D nerd thinking about Monty Python whenever King Arthur shows up. I love 1857. Anybody have these parentheses numbers? Do they still have that? 1800 strength and everything. Just showed you how flawed the system was. It was so finicky. Sir Galahad. Sir Gareth of Orkney, Sir Gawain, everybody's favorite Sir Gawain. King Arthur's stronger than Sir Gawain? I don't buy that. I don't buy that. We got Sir Lancelot over here. Sir Lancelot's stronger. He's got a 19. And Merlin. All right, Merlin's got psionics. So what is Merlin? He's a neutral good, 14th level druid, 15th level magic user, 10th level illusionist. There you go. There you go. 10th level. You know what? It's funny because I remember arguing all the time that he wasn't a druid, but now that I learn, yeah, a druid. Druid makes sense. Okay, I already saw that. I have all the. Okay, I saw that comment. Another amazing role is Tolus, the City of the Spire. I never heard of it. Morgan Le Fay. What is she? She's chaotic evil. And she's a 12th level magic user, 12th level illusionist. And here we got Sir Palamedes, the Saracen, King Pellinor, Sir Tristram. He's got an 1899 strength. An 1899 strength. Babylonian mythology. I would like to see, well, again, this got me interested in Babylonian mythology, so I would look up all the mythology and read the stories. I have to say, I'm still confused by Egyptian mythology, but I'll talk about that when I get there. So Babylon, Anshar, Draga, Gilgamesh. I kind of became fascinated with Gilgamesh. 20th. So Gilgamesh is like the Babylonian Hercules, and he's only 1 point stronger than Lancelot. See, he's got a 20 strength. 12th level ranger, 11th level monk, and a 5th level bard. Giru, Ishtar, goddess of love and war. Marduk. I don't know why. I always love this picture. Lawful neutral. Lawful neutral is my favorite alignment. I don't know why. I just love lawful neutral. Nurgle, god of the underworld. Rama, god of storms and thunder. Gilgamesh has cool stories. Yes, I recommend Sargon of Akkad does a great on his channel. If you go to Sargon of Akkad on YouTube, he does a great telling of the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of funny. The Celtic mythology. And again, I wanted to get into this because my grandmother was Irish, and my grandmother, she spoke Gaelic, but I feel like I have no connection to these characters. You know, Dagda, Arwan, Bridget, goddess of fire and poetry, Kulain. Like, am I pronouncing these right? Like, there's no way I'm pronouncing that right. There's no way. I'm not even going to try. Diane, how do you pronounce that? Donatus, like, and that's my problem. If I can't pronounce it, then I have no connection to it. Gyobini, Lug, Manahan Maclur, you know, like math. Okay, that one's easy. Morrigan, Nwada, god of war. Agama, you know, Sylvanus, and then the Wild Hunt. Became fascinated with the Wild Hunt, and the Wild Hunt is a big part of heroic tales. There's a you know, I would like to get to the story of the Wild Hunt, Master of the Hunt, and the Pack. I was fascinated by this. And then the Central American mythology. Now, my connection to the Central American mythology, I'm a level 7 Wuzhen. What is that? Is that a D&D class? Is that a joke? My connection to the Central American mythology is my buddy Carl, my childhood friend. His father was an archaeologist, and he did a lot of you know, work in Aztec, Maya, and Incan ruins. And he met Mrs. Rost, Julia, in Nicaragua. So Carl was half Nicaraguan, half like British, you know, American kid, and their whole house was filled with you know, Central American artifacts, South American artifacts. So, but I still can't pronounce these names. I can pronounce Quetzalcoatl. That's about it. You know what I mean? But these gods are like monstrous, you know. And when he would tell stories, these mythological stories, you know, these gods were terrifying and scary. You know, it's like, look at this. I can't pronounce these. I can't pronounce these. So I just, and all the gods are evil. You know, chaotic evil. You know, you pacify these gods. You didn't worship them. You wanted them to stay away. Zakapeli, god of gambling. Like, how do you pronounce this? Zlok, whatever. The naked chick goddess. And then the Chinese mythology. I have no, you know, connection to the Chinese mythology, but I could pronounce their names and I could read the stories, and you know, and that's really all that matters. All these chords are in the way over here. You know, Shang-Ti, supreme god of the heavens. But when I read Chinese mythology, it really it's almost like it doesn't matter. You know, it's not like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Chao Kong Ming, Ching Chang Fuya. Look at these. Han Ti, god of war. Goddess of mercy and childbearing, Kian Yin. This guy's cool looking. Lei Kong, Duke of Thunder. Lu Yu, god of epidemics. Ma Yuan, killer of the gods. Tell me that isn't the coolest freaking thing. Oh, you leaving, Alex? You leaving? Sorry. Wu Zhen, Oriental Adventures. Oh, okay. It's from Oriental Adventures. Oh, cool. I never got that. I never got that. Now I'm kind of intrigued to get all of that stuff. Maybe I'll get all the second edition stuff I'm missing. This poor unfortunate Shanghai Ching. He's got a bird body. This guy's pretty cool looking. Tao Mu. Wang Chung. Everybody's going to Wang Chung tonight. And then Judge of the Dead. Yang Wang Ye. And here is the Cthulhu mythology. This just fascinated me because I was like, what is this? Where did it come from? You know, I'd never heard of it. Where are these people? Like, I didn't know. So I got fascinated. You know, I read all of this, and I remember, so it was around 5th grade when I got into Lovecraft, and I got fascinated by Lovecraft to the point I'm still into Lovecraft. You know, I a lot of my board games are Lovecraft. There's a lot of Lovecraft influences in Heroic Tales, but I'm kind of like masking it because I know secondhand Cthulhu stuff. Like this, don't worry, Cthulhu's not going to rise from the sea and stuff like that. But, you know, there's stuff inspired by that. Because like Matt Bear said, Lovecraft is cool, but other people copying Lovecraft is trite. And I got to agree. So we got Cthulhu over here. See? 400 hit points. Could you see that? You can't have more than Cthulhu. Or how do you say it? Cthulhu? Cthulhu. You know. So what is he? He fights as a 16 plus hit dice monster, but he's a 20th level magic user. And he has 1 type 1 psionic abilities, and his strength is 25. You know, his charisma is -7. Here's Erle. And then we got no picture of Azathoth, the center of the universe. The Bayaki, which looks nothing like this. Nothing like this. But then again, like, you can't really argue because old HP was a pretty fast, not fast and loose, but he was very vague with his descriptions. Cthulhu's flame creatures, deep ones. I can't stand Jeff D, but man, back then, could he draw? I love that. I love that. The Great Race over here. I freaking love that. And Hoster the Unspeakable. As far as I know, he was never described like that. He was never described like a gigantic Godzilla monster. He was always like the King in Yellow. He was always like a yellow veiled monk. If the Qua, Lord of the Air. The Migu, my favorite monsters from Lovecraft. The Migu, the fungi from Yuggoth. And this is my favorite of the gods. Nyarlathotep. 200 hit points. He lives in the astral plane. He's a 12th level cleric and druid, a 15th level fighter, a 15th level magic user and illusionist, and a 15th level assassin. And his psionic ability is 5, whatever his... I know. Oh, no. Sketches, so I said his name. You're absolutely right. See, now I understand when you get the Necronomicon, these people read it out loud. They get so caught up. See, you just saw it live. You just saw it live. So the Wu-Jen or the sorceress. Okay, I didn't know that. Hermes is the highest level thief, 25. Did you play with level limits? Did you play with level limits? I got to say that we never made it that high. We never made it that high. You know, Tyr is the highest level paladin, 25. So 25, is that the official cap? I don't remember. I love Nameless Horus and Eldritch Starspawn. Yeah, me too. Thoth is possibly the highest level magic user at 30th. You don't say the name of the Yellow King. The Yeller King. The primordial ones. Shoggoths. I love Shoggoths. I love Shoggoths. I love Shoggoths, I cannot deny. Shub-Niggurath, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 spawn. And Yog-Sothoth. I gotta say, Yog-Sothoth and Nyarlathotep are my two favorites. You know, it's funny because we were talking about this with my wife, and we were talking, oh, what's your favorite Lovecraft monster? And my wife was in the process of saying Cthulhu when I said Nyarlathotep. People who say Cthulhu are amateurs, and she got all offended. I love this Earl Otis artwork. That is just awesome. And then the Dunwich Horror over here. Look at that. But I was fascinated by this. And then we went to the Egyptian gods with some glorious Jeff D artwork. Has anybody seen Jeff D's recent artwork? Is it any good? Like his art, it just isn't as good as it used to be. Did he have a stroke or something? Vanamonian is a mega rig. He's demigod level, cuts labels as a hero. What are we laughing at? Laughing at my story, how I was mean to my wife? I just, because of this cool artwork, I really, really got obsessed with the Egyptian gods. And I read as much as I could, but you forget that Egypt has like a 6,000 year history, and the mythology changes, you know? So it's really hard because I like to keep like a continuity. I'm such a freak like that. Like the Greek mythology, sometimes it contradicts itself, but for the most part, you could kind of put it in order. But Egyptian mythology is just impossible to keep it in order. Anubis. And it drives me nuts that they don't have pictures of everybody. Bast with the rubies. Geb. Horus. Horus is so freaking cool. Look at that hawk-headed guy. That is awesome. Isis, goddess of magic and fertility. Osiris, that is just awesome. That is awesome. And the Phoenix. Ta. Seker, god of light. I made up an NPC. Like instead of having Thor, you know, he had Thor in Marvel Comics. I had Seker. You know, he was my god character that went around blasting stuff. And of course, he fought Set instead of Loki. The minions of Set. Shoo! Tefnut. Thoth. And then Egyptians. Hieroglyphics, rather. And then the Finnish mythology. I got a funny story about the Finnish mythology. But it says over here, the stories of this myth are magnificently told in the Kalevala, the Finnish national epic. So I went and I got a copy of the Kalevala, and I was reading it. And I was an apprentice electrician at the time. So I had to go to school. So I would have like 2 hours after work and 2 hours of free time before school. And the school was right next door to a Hooters. So we would go to the Hooters and do our homework and, you know, basically give each other, one guy would do the homework, we'd all copy it, and we'd all take turns. So like you did homework once a semester. Ta-da, you know, our dirty little secret. So I'm sitting there waiting. And because of that, everybody would show up like 10 minutes. You know, some guys were working overtime, whatever. So at this particular time, I'm in Hooters by myself. and I'm reading the Kalevala. So here I am. I got my hard hat. I'm all dirty. I'm in a Hooters, eating a burger, and these two guys are looking at me, and I'm like, what's going on with these two guys? You know, clean cut, good looking, thin guys. I'm like, what is going on? So finally, one comes over and goes, "You're reading the Kalevala?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, we're from Finland, and we wanted to come to Manhattan. So here we are in Manhattan." He goes, "The last thing we ever expected to see was a construction worker at a Hooters reading the Kalevala." I said, "Well, welcome to New York." There's Vainamonian, Atu, a water dwarf, Hissi, god of evil, Ilmarinian, Ilmatar. I can't pronounce a lot of these names. Culvero I can pronounce, Lemon Ninekin, Tiara, Kip Yupto. I can't pronounce this. Louis, Miliki, goddess of nature, Loviatar, Loviatar. Yeah, DSL. Yeah, I always remembered her power. What was her main power? Yeah. Her first attack is always it does the worst damage you've ever done. So if you were stabbed through the heart and took 100 damage, and she waved her hand at you, you take 100 damage, you'd relive that pain. And then the second, it was just, I always thought that was really cool. The son of Poljola, Surma, Tuanatar, Tuoni. I'm sure I'm massacring anybody Finnish here. Want to school me on how to pronounce these names. Ukko. I always loved Ukko. Just a lawful good guy. Like he's the Sky Father. The Air Maidens, they look like Valkyries. Yeah. And then my favorite, oh my God, the Greek mythology. Our characters became so powerful we went random evil deity hunting. Yeah. Yeah. That's fun. That's fun too, though. That's fun. I can't. We two of our characters became gods, and then we just put them out of the game. They evolved to godlike status, and then we put them out of the game. It's just stupid. That's Jeb Bush. Who would win in a fight, Hastur or the Midgard Serpent? Well, I heard a story of the Midgard Serpent actually getting defeated. I've never heard a story of Hastur the Unspeakable. Oh, I said his name again. Getting defeated. So Hastur gets the win. Epic story. Is that my Hooter story? So look, Zeus has 400 hit points. So nobody can have higher hit points than Zeus. 25th level cleric, 17th level fighter, 20th level magic user, illusionist, and a 15th level bard. And he has 25s and everything. 25 strength, 25. Yeah, so 25 was the highest you could get. And I remember when I went to V&V, your stats are you could go up to 100. So I was like, whoa, how cool is that? The White Eagle of Zeus, Achilles, Antaeus, Aphrodite, Roslov. Roslov drew Aphrodite. And it always thought it was funny that Aphrodite was a blonde. When you think about like Aphrodite, it basically means of the sea, from the sea foam. So would she wouldn't have blonde hair, especially if she was Greek. So like, I don't know, like turquoise hair or something like that. She I don't know. I always think about stuff like that. Apollo, doesn't this have like the same root as apple? It's ripped over here. Ares, you see, I changed that from -2 to -7. How could Ares only have a -2 armor class? But the whole concept of negative armor classes just shows you how like flawed D&D was, and they just patched it. Even when they overhauled it from D&D to advanced D&D, they patched it. It really needed a serious overhaul. And when it got to second edition, they didn't have that overhaul that I think it needed. So I wonder if they did go on. Drives me nuts that I never had a picture of Artemis. My friend Carl was a pretty good artist. He used to draw his interpretations in these. Athena, I never knew how much I need her. Atlas, strength personified. Bellerophon. It's we say Cerberus, but I heard that that the C was pronounced as a K, so it's really Kerberos. And like you'd say Kirsi or Kirki and Chaos instead of a Coas. Creus. Like you'd say a Cyclops instead of a Cyclops. And Cyclides. How oh, so you like the Huda story. That's funny. I like the Norse and Greek is so powerful because of popularity. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say, like, the meta of popularity, I think, is a big part of comic books. Superman is so powerful because of his meta, because he's so powerful. And if Superman kind of gets forgotten about, I wouldn't have a problem with him losing his strength. Like in the real world, powers the superheroes, you know. So like, and that's one of the reasons why the Blue Marvel, you can't just create the Blue Marvel whole cloth in 2012 and say he's better than Superman, more powerful than Superman. You know what I mean? It's just he hasn't generated that psychic astral power, that meta power. You know, how dare I alter the text? I know I'm a blasphemer. I'm a blasphemer. Popularity adds to worship and devotion to God's might. Yep. I mean, how many people still worship Marduk or remember Marduk? You know, as opposed to you can see, I tried to draw Demeter. I drew boobs and then erased boobs because I was a fifth grade boy. Dionysus and Cladus, Epimetheus, the god of stupidity, the Furies. I've always been fascinated with the Furies. Hades, Hecate, goddess of magic and moon and witchcraft. I've always liked that picture. How do you pronounce this? The Heckanshire. I could never pronounce this. Heckanshire. Heckanshire. Hephaestus. Hera. Goddess of marriage and intrigue. Heracles. Strength 25. Hermes. 25th level thief. Yep, you were right. Jason had blonde hair, I think. Kronos. Nike. Oceanus, greater titan of the sea and water areas. Odysseus. Pan. Perseus. Poseidon. Prometheus. I've always had a thing for Prometheus. Heracles. What did I say? I said Heracles, right? I said Heracles. Heracles. Heracles? Heracles. Oh, I don't know. Heracles? I always said Heracles. I guess I guess I'm wrong. Theseus. And then the Indian myths. Indra. You know, god of the atmosphere. Indra's elephant. Agni, god of fire. Kali. I can't pronounce that. The peacock. Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. Marut. Ratra. Rudra. I just say Hercules. Well, Hercules is the Roman. I always liked that Hercules could attack anyone in range. Does it say that? I don't claim to remember all the text. It has a range of 1 mile and it cannot miss at distances up to a half mile. When he about okay, yeah, is that what you're talking about? He can attack anybody. I always like Shura, Ushas, Varuna, Vishnu, Garuda, the king of all birds, Yama and Yama's water buffalo, the Japanese mythology, Amaterasu. I'm probably gonna massacre these near the end of the bio. Let me see this. When he is Berserker Rage, he causes him to attack all who within striking distance of him, friend and foe alike. What is his damage bonus from his strength? Is 25. Thrusting weapons do one. I don't see where it says he hits everybody in range. I just see that he has like a super great range. Amaratsu Oki Omnikama, Amatsumara, Daikoku, Bisu Hashiman, Kishu Jotun, Okuni Nushi. Yeah, everybody could just make fun of my pronunciation. Raiden. I like that because I can pronounce it. That's really my problem. Ray cool. I always thought this was such a cool. Susanoso. Tsukiyomi. Yanamoto Dati. Berserker Rage. That raid. Oh, I always liked that Hercules could attack anyone in a rage. Oh, I read that wrong as range. Okay. Yes. Yoshi Ai. And here we go. The Melnibonian. Look how dirty this is. This looks like a burn. But I love this. I was fascinated by this. I went out of my way to read all of the original Michael Moorcock novels. Yeah. So by the time I got the book, Elric of Melnibone, The Bane of the Black Sword Sailors, He's a Fate, The Vanishing Tower, The Weird of the White Wolf, and Stormbringer. And I just reread them maybe 5-6 years ago. And I have to say, Elric in the modules is not, Elric in the novels is not chaotic evil. He's not chaotic evil. He tries to be good, but the sword influences him, So I disagree with that. But no psionics. So I like that his strength is 6 unless he's holding the sword. Always wanted to do a Stormbringer module. There was a role-playing game called Stormbringer that my friend Jimmy ran for a while. And it was fun. I liked the way they did sorcery. Matter of fact, it influenced the way I do sorcery. Someday you'll see it if I can get to the high enough issues in Heroic Tales. One of the characters is a magician who learns the art, spell casting and sorcery. They're ways of using magic, but they're different. Stormbringer, the sword. I always wanted to get like a prop of Stormbringer. I found one place that had exactly what I wanted, but it was too grand, and I couldn't do it. Moonglum, Ariok. I always liked Ariok, the Assassinator of the Gods, Clackar, Darnazon, Darzy Hunting Dogs, the Dragons of Melnibone, Donblos, the Justice Maker. We used to say Mentos, the Fresh Maker. We used to just goof on him with his big doughy eyes. The rare good god. El-Noin, these like Berserker Rage naked women. How terrifying would that be to just an army of armed, raged, naked women coming at you? You'd be like, I gotta get out of here. Philippe, Gralock, Grom. Always liked Grom. I just had a soft spot for Grom, like Lord of the Treants. Sank, the Katal, the Fire Lord. I remember Elric actually killed him in the book. The Kelmain, I know I just can't remember them in the books. But these like solid gold warriors. Merklar, Misha, the Mist Giant, Morgdaz. I remember all of these, but I don't remember the Kelmain in the stories. The Myron, the Neuron Horse, Lurk. And because of these, here's a connection to Heroic Tales, a direct connection to Heroic Tales. So because of these Melnibone books, because of this Deities and Demigods, I got the Elric of Melnibone novels by Michael Moorcock, which then then Marvel made the Dreaming City hardcover graphic novel, which was a Pete Craig Russell. And then after that, Pacific Comics did Elric of Melnibone comic books, and that was P. Craig Russell and Michael T. Gilbert. So that's how I got it to become a fan of Michael T. Gilbert from this. And now Michael T. Gilbert's doing did a cover for my comic book, all because of this book. Like I said, this book is super influential in my life. I'll never get rid of this book. Paray, I always found him to be fascinating. Just, he's a Paray commands the Chaos Fleet, a flotilla of sunken ships manned by undead sailors. How cool is that? That is just the coolest thing. This guy can't pronounce, so I have no connection to him. And Roofdrack, the master of all dogs. Master of all dogs. Strasha, I remember him from the novels. The Vampire Trees. Lindon Garner, I remember him from the rival to Melnibone. How do you say Melnibone? Is it Melnibone or is it Melnibone? Molybdene, as one of my friends corrects me all the time, and I want to punch him in the face. This is just so cool. Vulture Lions. Zombarg, the first gender confused character. You know, Zombarg he's a male god who appears as a slim young girl. And Urkud, the evil brother of, and it drove me nuts in the comics. They drew him with short curly red hair, where they had him with long black hair to contrast Elric's long blonde hair. And here's the Nuon mythologies by Fritz Lieber. You know, the Faft drove me nuts. There's no vowel in the second. Faft and Grey Mouser. Again, anybody want to come and join? Here's the link. So I read all of these books too. I like these. Some of them really, really good. Some of them were chore, but some of them were really good. The Cold Woman, Death, a Devourer, an Alien. Yeah, these things just want to consume and consume. Yeah, who was it? Fafrid, I think, had an affair with a Nuhan ghoul. You know, they're basically humans with transparent skin. The gods of Lankbar. I've always loved this concept. There's these gods inside the city of Lankbar. And when the city gets attacked or sieged, or there's problems, you go and you bang on the doors. These liches come out and they fight off whatever it is. And then as they're going back to the temple, they wreck shit. They just cause violence to remind you, don't disturb us unless you really need us. You know, it's so cool. The gods of trouble, hate. It's just this vaporous being that just like influences people. Izek of the Jug. That was that story where Faf became a priest of Izek of the Jug. Kos, a Leviathan. Morval, the Nuon Earth god. I never understood this. Ningable of the Seven Eyes. I always loved that. The seer, the aliens seer that this was a Ninjable Seven Eyes was the mentor to Faft and what was it? Sheba of the Eyeless Face was the mentor to Grey Mouser. The Rat Gods. Yeah, and here's Sheba of the Eyeless Face. Spider Gods. Tia. Bachala. The Water Cobras. And then, Swords Against Devilry. Swords Against Death. Swords Against the Mist. Swords Against Wizardry. Swords Against Lankbar. And Swords Against ICYMI. And then through this, I started reading the Terry Pratchett. You know, Ankh Morkport was basically a goof on Lankbar. Ankh Longport, you know, it's like the same city, like a multiversal dimension of the city. Not the best bugbear. Well, are any bugbears the best bugbear? Your ex-wife was a ghoul? Well, you could see right through her. This I always thought was fascinating. These god, made up gods for the non-human races. Moradin. Corellian Larethian. I always thought it was funny that the elves had first names and last names for their gods. Deep Shalashash. Lolth. I'm fascinated by Lolth. And I have a big, believe it or not, I have a big Western story involving Lolth. One of my characters ended up unwittingly becoming a cowboy priest of Lolth. How could I translate that into a heroic tale story, since I don't think I could use Lolth? Rifflane Rathiel, Grolantor, Scorius Stonebones, Garl Glittergold. Oh, the Cold Woman. How do you pronounce this? Maglubiet? Maglibiot, Yandala. This is just so cool. Kurt Lumak. And then blip doop boop boop blip doop boop. The Kuato. The Kuto just became deep ones, and the Kuto just became like a race specific name. Like that's what the deep ones call themselves. In English, we say deep ones. I always love these old school lizard man. These are just so cool. Lokoth and Merman Idro. And the ogres worship Vaprak, the destroyer. And Grumash, the orc god. We had a good story. They didn't encounter Grumash, but they encountered a big like statue of Grumash that had like Grumash's awareness in it. It was a lot of fun. That was a good story. Lagst, the god of the troglodytes. Sekola. And the Norse mythology. Ask me again. Some days I love the Greek mythology more than the Norse mythology. And some days I love the Norse mythology more than the Greek mythology. L.E. Nude Dungeoneer. I love these old D&D books. Hasbro is releasing a mini versions of the first 3 D&D magic. Oh, cool. Cool. That is really cool. Odin, the All-Father. All 25s. What is he now? He's a 30th level cleric, special, 14th level druid, 18th level ranger, 30th level magic user, and a 15th level bard. Fraken Greer, Hunan Mugen, Slipnir, Agir, Balder, God of Beauty, Charisma, Braggy, the Fenris Wolf, 400 hit points. Jalar, Forseti, Fossergrim, Bray, God of Sunshine and the Elves. Blogdog Hoffy, Gullen Bursty, that's Frey's Boar. Skirnir, Freya, Goddess of Love and Fertility. What is she? She got 24 strength. She's a 15th level cleric, 10th level druid, 7th level ranger, 15th level illusionist, and a 12th level bard. The Babylonian and Sumerian pantheons kind of got the shaft in this book. Yeah, I think they didn't do the best research, They feel like afterthoughts. Can't argue with that. Frigga, Garm, Heimdall, the Bright Guard, Guardian of Bifrost, the Shining God, the whitest of all gods. That's why they got Eldra to play him. Who has +3 white armor. He's supposed to be the Morning Star. The Morning Star is the physical manifestation of Heimdall. The whitest of all gods, the brightest of all gods. Hell, Idun, Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, and Loki. What is Loki now? Chaotic Evil, 12th level fighter druid, 25th level fighter ranger, 11th level magic user, 20th level illusionist, 15th level assassin, and a 5th level monk and a 5th level bard. And he has psionics. I always love this. Magni, the god of strength, and Modi, the god of courage and berserker rage. Don't mess with the Norse when they have a god of berserker rage. The Norns. Sif, goddess of excellence and skill. I always thought Sif was also the goddess of the dawn, and that symbolizes her hair turning from blonde to black. As or the nighttime. Surtur, how cool is that? And then this, God of Thunder. I'll tell you a little story about this. I went to Gary Con in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin years ago. 10 years ago at this point. And Jeff D's agent was there, and they were selling the artwork. And I had this actual original artwork in my hand for $150. And I wanted to buy it. Oh my God, I wanted to buy it. I've loved this drawing, but Jeff D is such a cock. There's no other way to describe it. He threatened to sue me over my forum. He came in like a sheep in wolf's clothing, or a wolf in sheep's clothing, all nice and helping me out. And then and then wanted to take it over from me. I'm like, dude, I've been keeping Villains Vigilantes, Jeff D created Villains Vigilantes with Jack Herman. It's like, I've been the online presence for Villains Vigilantes for 20 years. And then you come into my forum because he was starting his lawsuit with Scott Bazaar and wanted to take it back from him and then create the 3rd edition. So he comes in, joins my forum and makes all nice. And then wants, let me be the administrator. I'm like, no, this is for me and my friends. And so he threatens to sue me. It's funny because a couple of my friends are like, we can't be part of this forum anymore. I'm like, no. I was like, so, I never stopped. He ended up losing his lawsuit and whatever. So now I have this artwork in my hand and I'm like, I can't buy it. I can't buy it. I'm so mad. I should have bought it. Sometimes you got to separate the art from the artist. Look at that. Great. I always wanted to color that. Maybe I'll scan it and color that. How cool is that? Thrym. Tier. 25th level paladin. Who said it? 25th level paladin. Yep. Are you lolling at my story? It's all true. Matter of fact, you could go to www.villainsvigilantes forum, and I think you could see some old Jeff D posts of him. I think he might have deleted them. But I think you could find some. The Valkyries, Vidar, God of Strength, and the Sumerian mythology. I would love to get like accurate as far as what Sumerian look like with the with how the gods would is there like an anthropologist who's also an artist that could draw with these how the Sumerians envisioned their gods to look like, because I'm sure they didn't look like this. This would be so cool. Yeah, I agree with you. These guys kind of got the shaft, and then I love this maps of the multiverse. What's this? At least better picks. Yeah, at least better picks. I agree with. I attended Gen Con like 8. I wonder if I saw you there. I wonder if we ever bumped into each other. Did I ever get my dice blessed by Gygax's grave? No, I never did. That would be funny. I need to go to Gen Con at least once in my lifetime. I will say this. Going to a role-playing convention and playing 4-hour sessions of pre-made characters with complete strangers was torture. It was torture. I hated every minute of it. What I did like was talking with people, hanging out at the bar, going to dinner with people, and having a beer, talking, and then somebody told me that there was a room with role-playing games. So I'm thinking this must have been like 2010, 2012 when I went. I forget the exact year. So I went to the role-playing room, and there was a game called Arkham Horror. And I was like, what is this? A board game based on Lovecraft? And I became fascinated. I was reading it, and I didn't understand it. And I bought the game. So when I came home, I got Arkham Horror, but I didn't know how to play. So I went online, and I met people. I was living in Queens. I met people out in Suffolk, and I drove out to play Arkham Horror, and they were the worst. They didn't explain to me how to play. They just told me what to do. So all I was an extension of them playing. It was torture. And I just came home, and I was like, I told my wife, I said, that was miserable. She said, well, go one more time. So I went the next week, and it was just as bad. So then she found Meetup and found a group in Flushing that was nearby. And it just happened to be the first meeting of this group. And that became my group for like the next 10 years. And that's the group that I no longer hang out with because they had problems with me not wearing masks and not wanting to get the shot, and then saying that Black Lives Matter was a terrible organization. And, so I became bad, super bad, alt-right Nazi guy. But I love these maps of the inner planes, the dimensions, to the point that I described. I had Renzo start a map of my multiverse, because I want, when I say multiverse, if you're like me, you cringe and you're like, oh, John's gonna, just bring back the patriarch, kill him, and bring up. No. I just like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're from Twin Paradises, there's no other LE New Dungeoneer over here in the Seven Heavens. Like, it's a completely different dimension with different people, and that's. So it's a multiverse in like a Dungeons and Dragons, so with different rules of physics and things like that. So, and then I realized my comic has gotten way too expensive. It's way too expensive, my comic. So I said, we'll do that probably around issue 3. So that the map of the unit. So I want to make a map of Science City first, and then a map of the multiverse. And I just love all of these charts. Dungeons Dragons is such an anal retentive dream. And then this chart I really liked. I love this chart. You know, it told you the gods, and it gave you like a little like index card of what they do, what their portfolio is, you know, how to worship them, what to get. It was just so cool. Just so cool. Hey, Yang is here. How you doing? How you doing? I said Dungeons Dragons and Yang showed up. I love maps. More detailed, the better. Yes, yes. Like I always say, I love fake maps. But then I realized fake maps are real maps. They're real maps to fake places. I love all of this. Love all of this. You know, and that's the last couple of pages. And then we got the index. So there you go. There's the back cover. Earl Otis. I'm still mad that I didn't get that Thor, you know, but Jeff D is just such a miserable prick. No other way to describe it. Real maps of your imagination. Absolutely. So there you go. There you go. Sketchy Source saying hello to Yang. So it's 56 minutes. So of course, I have to hang out for another 4 minutes. Anything anybody want to say? You know, check out this challenge coin. Again, you know, $30. It cost me. I mean, I'm not making that much money on these. And John's Longbox at yahoo.com. You know, just one long word, $30. I'll throw this right in the mail tomorrow. And these coins, these are the coins that you can get with the campaign. And this is a quarter to show you perspective reference. So I said size of a nickel, but it's really slightly bigger than a quarter. So there you go. I still have 30 RPG books. Yes. I think the next RPG book I'm going to show is this. We'll do this maybe tomorrow again, because I haven't been booking too many guests for chats. So I'll do this tomorrow, maybe, Fiend Folio. And then I have a real cool the Dungeons and Dragons Museum in a Box. That's really cool. Check out Empire of the Sun. Great D&D. Oh, yeah, that's Yang's Empire of the Undying Sun for D&D Horror Campaign Guide. There you go. Got to shill. Always be shilling. Always be shilling. So there you go. 2 more minutes. Anybody want to say anything? Anybody? Bueller? I'm not going to put the invite out because I'm going to go have some dinner. And then at 8:30 tonight, Eastern Standard Time, so in 4 hours, I will be over at the Fourth Age with RJ doing comic book team up. Friday at 8 p.m. I'll be doing It's Clobbering Time with whoever wants to join me. That'll be an open invite, and we're going to do Hellboy vs. Spawn. And Sunday, I will do Sunday Comics. I don't know what I'm going to do with Sunday Comics just as of yet. I got a complete original Dark Sun run, Robotech module, smattering of AD&D stuff, some Earth Dawn, and a whole Dungeons Dragon magazines. Yeah, the problem with the Dragon magazines is we all like traded and borrowed them, so my Dragon magazines kind of just disappeared. You know, I'd love to get Dragon magazines again. Buy Heroic Tales #1. You have to do it. It's an order from Yang. I would not be so crude as to order you to do it, but Yang. That just went. I'm more of the Mighty Kevin is more of a demigod. So there you go. That's the D&D TSR, the Game Wizards. I want to dig up all my D&D stuff. I like I said, upstairs I have a bookshelves, and I just kind of threw books on them, so it's kind of hard to find where they are. I really got to organize. I mean, I got no excuse. I'm not supposed to lift heavy things, but I can move individual books around. I'm hunting White Wolf RPGs. Yeah, I want to get the fairy one. What is it called? The Fey one. You know, I played the White Wolf vampire game for Kevin a lot. My roommate Jason ran that game for a long time, and then I ran a little bit of vampire. And then I switched over to Villains Vigilantes. So there you go. It's exactly an hour. I'm going to call it quits. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you if I'll see you tonight at 8:30 on RG's channel on the 4th Age. And if not, I'll see you Friday for It's Clobbering Time.